And joining us now in studio to discuss the latest events is Israel's Special Envoy for Trade and Innovation, Fleur Hassan Nahoum. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
So, Fleur, we've heard these reports of a tense call between President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu. This is not the first time we feel tension here in recent weeks. How significant is this, do you think?
Well, you know, it's very difficult to know what to believe because, as you know, the press always likes to hype up these things because these are the things that get attention. And so, of course, America has its interests and Israel has its interests. But I think for the most part, America, at least we feel over here, and the government in general feels, that America has our back. They just put a veto on a very important UN decision last week. Let's not forget about that. There's already a lot of heavy weaponry in the region in case of the situation when we have to go in and dismantle the nuclear capabilities of Iran. So I think we have to take everything with a pinch of salt.
I'll keep with this subject. Trump reportedly demanded a permanent end to the war in Gaza and opposed an Israeli strike on Iran. How do you interpret this stance and how might it influence Israeli decision-making?
Well, I think that President Trump at the moment is trying to give a chance to these negotiations with Iran, whether you agree or disagree with him. I personally believe that they're not going to go anywhere because a scorpion will always remain a scorpion. You can't turn them into a dove. And that's Iran. And so I think that sooner or later the talks will fall apart because Iran has made it very clear that they want to enrich uranium. And President Trump has made it very clear that part of the deal is for them not to enrich uranium. So I don't see how this comes out in a good outcome. President Trump's got his own issues internally in America, economically, globally. And so you can understand why war is the last option. For Israel, war is never the first option. But we understand that we have a very, very cruel and very conniving enemy in the Islamic Republic of Iran that attacked us twice in the last year. And so we know who Iran is. Maybe President Trump will find out who Iran is and will give us the go-ahead eventually. And in terms of ending the war, nobody wants to continue the war. We want our hostages home and we want Hamas to be out of the picture so that we can all live a peaceful life. I don't think anybody disagrees on that.
Okay, so let's talk about the hostages. Netanyahu held a key meeting with security officials and ministers today regarding hostage talks. He says there's some kind of advancement. How close or still far do you think that we are from Israel, from a potential deal, Israel agreeing to a potential deal?
I really think it depends how much pressure America is putting on Qatar. Because as we know, Qatar is a very big player here in telling Hamas what to do because they fund them, they aid them, and they host them. And look at when they wanted to make a gesture to President Trump, how Idan Alexander, without any negotiations and without anything in return, was simply released.
That's right.
So I think the key here is getting America to pressurize its newfound friend Qatar in order to release all of the hostages in one go. I don't understand why we're still doing these stages. This has gone far enough. We need them all home. And I believe American pressure on Qatar can actually get that result.
And where Israel is concerned, with all this international pressure mounting, including from allies, do you see signs that Israel will soften its position with Hamas? And quite honestly, I personally don't understand how Israel is even in a position to be negotiating with a terrorist organization, but that's the case and it's happening. So do you think that Israel will stick firmly to their previous red lines, or will there be a softening of their stances?
I think that Israel understands that you can't leave even a little bit of Hamas because it will rearm, regroup, and we'll have the same threat on our borders in 3 to 5 years. In other words, if we don't deal with it now, our children and our children's children will have to deal with it. And I think that even the soldiers, even the ones that are exhausted, are saying and pressurizing, we've got to finish the job. And I believe that things are beginning to change. Why? The minute you take Hamas out of the humanitarian aid distribution, you have now taken them out of ruling people's lives and helping people or governing people. And that, to me, and the fact that these gangs are coming up, whether we like them or we don't like them, but the fact that there's a bit of an alternative of a leadership coming up in Gaza, this is a very important corner that we've turned. We need to see this through.
Absolutely. Fleur, Hassan, Nahoum, thank you. Please stay with us. We'll be back to you in a few moments for some more questions and more of your input. Thank you.